Pranams and namaskars to all the masters who have joined in, and I thank the Mahadrashta Trust team, the organizing committee, and the whole of team who has created this platform. In conducting such a wonderful program, right? So usually we talk about various concepts, or we talk about conducting workshops or doing, many other themes. But this concept of having sessions based on a book, right? And that is digital dhyana Swadhyaya Yoga, which is given by our Brahmarshi Pritama Patriji, right? So it's a great concept to continue, and then it's a new experience for me also to speak about specific about books and about an authors, and also share it more practical context or implementation context, and based on my experiences on these books, and living on this what do you call the ideals and a walk of life, so it's good for me to express myself through these sessions and the platforms. So thank you very much for joining in. So today we'll speak about a book, Swadhyaya. In the Swadhyaya Yoga, we'll speak about a book. This is called the As a Man Thinketh, as said by Nikita. So okay, so I'll be having a couple of slides to talk about it, and then it'll be easy for you all guys to follow. And then we'll discuss, and then we'll also have a bit of Q and A's during this session, and then we can have more practical discussions around it, right? Uh, can you just confirm if you all can view my screen, someone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, thank you. And yeah, so just to talk quickly about this book, right? This book is, I'm happy to tell you that this book is close to a decade old. So this was published in 1903, and James Allen is a great British philosopher and writer who has written a lot of inspirational books. He has been a poet and a pioneer in self-help movement, right? So self-help movement is all those people, something like a DIY, do it yourself, and experiment on yourself, and gain your own experience. So he has been a great inspirer and writer of books, and then he has lived through 1864 to 1912. Can you just imagine? This book is such an amazing book. I recommend each one of the masters, and you all should read this book. It's a pretty not a very thick book. You can see it's just a 50-page book, right? So and it gives such a good amount of insight. And to tell personally about my linkage to this book, right? So this was my first generation book that I was reading through, and I was inspired so much that it helps you to introspect. It helps you to think about what these thoughts are all about. So he has written this book As a Man Thinketh. That's one of his most popular books, the most successful books of James Allen was As a Man Thinketh. And he has given a lot of quotes and insights about what thoughts are all about, and then how thoughts will affect the entire construct of a human being, and in turn the society, and in turn the world, right? So the very basis of the creation of what we are today, and what the society is today, and what the world is today, especially the humankind, is based on the thoughts that we create. So that's such a wonderful concept he has created, and then he has given quite a good insights about this, about the thoughts, right? So one of the wonderful quotes that he has, if you can see on the screen, right? A man is literally what he thinks, his character being the complete sum of all his thoughts, right? So it's like whatever a human being or a person is today is nothing but a sum total of all the thoughts he has created till date, right? So that means, like, whatever we are, like, whether we are happy, we are healthy, we are prosperous, we are depressed, we are angry, we are deceased. Everything is nothing but a result of whatever we have generated or thought about myself or ourselves or about the society. Right? That's the exact thing. So just to start with an example about this quote, right? I will compare this with something like if suppose we have a bank account, right? If I have a bank account, it might have got created somewhere like say when I was 18-year old, I would have opened a bank account. Like suppose I am a 50-year-old person, not today. So it's like 32 years of transaction has happened in this bank account, and your balance as on today is nothing but the sum total of all the transactions that you have done, whether you have withdrawn, you have deposited, you have borrowed, you have taken interest, given interest. The balance as on today is nothing but the sum total of all the transactions that we have done in this particular account. From to the when I was 18 years old and until I became 50 years also, right? So and as we continue our journey with the bank account, it again the balance purely depends on the total number of transactions that we have done. Similarly, a person, what he is today or she is today, is nothing but a transactional summation of all the thoughts and emotions that we have generated out of our mind, right? That's how it can all be summed up. A very simple truth, and yet a very profound and insightful, thought-provoking quote given by James Allen, right? Don't you think so? Such a great approach and thought to it. So, starting this as a curtain raiser, so masters, I would like to have start the session with the 10 minutes meditation, and then we'll continue the session as it is, right? So, and to do the meditation, so it's like I hope I'll just guide those masters who are actually new to meditation, and then it will be a very simple exercise, and I'll be playing some soft music, and then you can, you can actually, be with the breath, and I'll just give you some small guidance about it, and then we'll end the session. When we end the session, we'll have to just put our hands on our eyes like this for 5 seconds and just open our eyes. So I'll be guiding you through this now. Just give me a sec. So if you can see the screen, right? So I'll be introducing you to Anapanasati meditation here. Anapanasati is nothing but inhalation and exhalation and being one with it or observing the breath, right? So Ana is inhalation, Apana is exhalation, and Sati means becoming one with it, right? So if you see here on the screen as well, it gives some instructions. So I'll be taking you through these instructions. One is first thing first, we have to close our eyes, then be seated in a very comfortable posture, either on a chair or a floor or a mat. Either you can take rest of your back or you can sit straight, whatever is your comfortable position. And you have to cross your fingers like this. And if you're seated on a chair, you can cross your legs like this. So be very comfortable. Remove the spectacles, and as far as possible, darken the room. Right. So if you darken the room, you'll have a much better experience of meditation. And here, what we are going to do is when we say observe the breath, it doesn't mean that. So we don't do a kriya. So we don't forcibly take the inhalation and exhalation. We don't do an exercise here. The whole day we are breathing involuntarily. The body knows when to breathe, when to inhale and when to exhale, and when to breathe softly, when to breathe briskly, when to breathe very fast, when to breathe shallow. The body knows, and it all purely depends on the emotions that we carry, right? So we are only going to be a witness of the breath the whole day, as we are not controlling the breath, and but we are not aware of the breath. But here, what we'll do is we'll be aware of the breathing process, right? So my friends, dear masters, so what we'll do is we'll close our eyes, cross the fingers, cross the legs, sit very comfortably, observe the breath entering and exiting out of your nostrils, the entry point of your nostrils. Be aware of that point and observe the cool air going in, warm air coming out. So in between, what happens is the mind, like a monkey, jumps from one branch to another, like it jumps to the past tense or it jumps to the future tense. So the idea of this meditation is to bring you to your present tense, that is balancing and centering yourself. So when you observe the breath, you will come to the present moment because the breathing is happening in the present tense, not in the past or in the future, right? So as and when the mind tries to wander, recall that you have to observe your breath and come back to the breath. I'll be guiding you through the process, and let's start. Close your eyes and cross your fingers, cross your legs. Observe your normal breath. No chanting, no visualizing, just you and your breath.
Sir, we can't hear you.
Ten, nine, eight, seven, six, five, four, three, two, one, zero. Gently place your hands on your eyes for 5 seconds. Five, four, three, two, one, zero. Just put your hands down and gently open your eyes. Open your eyes. A big clap, masters. Thank you, everyone. So, it's such a wonderful session of meditation. We just finished about 15 minutes, right? So let's get back to our the book of the day and the concepts and the practical applications around it, right? So I was just talking about a while ago, though, for those who have joined new, is that a man is literally what he thinks. That's the subject, and that's the topic of this book. And a quote by James Allen says, "Any human being, whatever he is today, as on date, is nothing but a sum total of all the thoughts that he has generated or he has created, right, for his life. It's just like a bank balance of a bank account, which is nothing but the balance is nothing but a debit, credit, or the interest adjustments, all the transactions put together gives you the balance for the day. However old the account is, right? That's how we will compare the bank account, right? And as we all are in meditation, right? So we all come from a meditation background, and we have just finished a meditation. So it's all about observing the breath, and then observing the thought, and then making sure that we become more aware of the thoughts, right? So one of the important point that James quotes is that it's a man's mind. Like, say, where does the thought sit? The thoughts sit on the man's mind. So the mind is more like a virtual platform. It is like it's a farmland, or it's a garden where it's like a completely layer of soil, right? It's like when a clean soil is available, and then whatever you sow on the soil, whatever seed we sow is what we are going to grow, right? So the thoughts are like the seeds, and the man's mind is like a garden's ground, where a human being has its free will to cultivate or sow the seeds, whatever he wants to create his life like. So either you can create a great life, or he can create a very distressed or a depressed life, right? Or he can grow garbage, and it doesn't understand what his life is all about, right? So it's like either you can make a very beautiful garden growing whatever wishful fruits and vegetables or greens that we want to grow, or we just don't know that it's like a wild place, completely full of weeds, and nothing we can make use of it. So that's how he compares a man's mind, and this mind is completely filled with thoughts regularly. But a person who can wishfully, willfully, consciously create the thoughts that he wants, then he creates a beautiful garden, or a lawn, or a farm that he wants, right? Otherwise, it will be just like we don't know what's growing here, right? You can see in the picture. So in the previous picture, you could see, you can see images of all the fruits that what we are trying to sow and what we are trying to get out of it. And but when you come to this stage, we don't know what's growing. It's all about weeds. We don't know what is the purpose of the life, or what is the purpose of my day, right? So we all have to live with a purpose, right? So everyone has to have a ideal state of thinking as to, yes, this is the purpose of my day, this is the purpose of my life, this is the purpose of this job, this is the purpose of my family, this is the purpose of me studying in this college. So we should all have a purpose, and that's like sowing the seed of a purpose of education or health or anything like that. So if we don't know what is the purpose, if we don't know consciously what we are creating, then our life becomes just like what you see in this image. We don't know what we are sowing, we don't know what we are getting. We are really a confused lot of people, right? And that's exactly the situation of the whole world, right? Many people, we don't know what is the purpose of our life, we don't know what we are creating, we don't know what we are sowing, we don't know what finally we know, yes, we are reaping some fruits or vegetables or whatever results, but we don't know why it's coming and where it's coming from, right? So there is always a cause and effect. Like in the Indian mythology, we have a karmic karma yoga, karma siddhanta. This as a man thinketh is purely based on the karmic principles or karmic philosophy. That whatever we sow, so we create, and whatever we sow, so we reap. Right. So it's all about that concept, and that's how it all starts working. And James Allen has written this book. This book, can you imagine? It's almost like 100-year old. It was printed way back in 1900s, and then we are now in 2020. It's been more than 100 years now, and then it's still a great book. And I've connected a couple of things just to help you all understand more scientifically also. So the one which we talked about is more philosophically, right, Master? So I also wanted you to understand scientifically how have we understood, what is the way we can understand. Is it really true? Is it really right that, every thought matters, everything matters, every emotion matters in our mind? So let's try to see what the science also says. So whatever you see in the picture, right? It's an experiment conducted by one of the great masters called Masaru Emoto. He's a Japanese scientist, but is a highly spiritually inclined person, and he wants to link spiritual science and material science together and help people to get the benefits of the spiritual science in day-to-day affair in a materialistic world, right? So if you see this image, you can see roughly five pictures in this, right? And this is what he did is he wanted to measure or see the effects of human emotions or human thoughts on his body and the external environment. That is like every thought has an impact or effect, as what James has said, but he has proved it in real terms or in scientific terms. So what he did is he wanted to study the effect of emotions or the human thoughts on the body in itself and then external world. Is it really going to impact the world? What or whatever I think. So what he did is he took five bottles of water, like he took like this a bottle of water. So he took five bottles of water. He held it, or they held it like this, and they gave an emotion or a thought to that water, saying that one bottle they took it and just nothing. He just held it and then keep it aside, and then another bottle of water they took it and they did a praying. So they whatever religion it was, so they just held the bottle and then say they just prayed and they made a prarthana, and one more bottle, they took it like this and then said, "Thank you very much. You're such a wonderful thing in my world, and I really love, thank you for whatever, because I drink and I'm living because of water." So I said, "Thank you with great respect and gratitude." And he kept that aside. And then one more bottle, they took it and then they started cursing the water, saying that, "I'll kill you. You make me sick." And he gave a very a strong anger to that, and then kept aside. And another bottle, they said, "I love you," and "I thank you, I love you," and that bottle was kept aside. So all the five bottles were frozen, and then when once it was frozen, they observed the ice crystals, right, the molecules, ice molecules, under a microscope, electron microscope, and this is what they observed, right? So just holding the bottle for a moment and giving the emotions or the thought to it, and then observing that under a microscope, you can see how the impact is on the molecules, right? You can see for whatever you didn't do anything, it was a different structure. Wherever we offered a prayer, it has a different pattern. And wherever we said thank you, it has a beautiful pattern there. And when we said, "You make me sick and I will kill you," so you can see, it's giving a different effect altogether. And then when we say love and appreciation, right, so it's all about giving that a different pattern altogether, right? So this is how it actually looks like, so just imagine, uh, just a small feed of emotional thoughts has so much of impact on the water bottle and the water molecules. And we as a person, right, we carry these emotions, we carry these thoughts, and we are made of 75% of water or 78% of water, isn't it? So just like earth has 75, in excess of 75% of water, we are nothing different than earth planet, right? So we also have a lot of water within our body, and whatever thoughts and emotions we create, it has a definite impact on our body. And also it communicates to the external layer, and it shows the impact outside also, like how it impacted the water bottle, it will also impact the environment. So we'll talk more about it, right? So, and it has also been scientifically studied that a normal human brain or a mind generates about 50 to 70,000 thoughts in a day, right? So you can imagine how we are impacting ourselves with these thoughts which we are creating consciously, unconsciously, through our own conscious or subconscious minds. And imagine what type of impact we are creating on ourselves, and what we are creating on the environment and the society and the world in total, right? So it is very, very important concept to understand. And then this really brings us to the necessity of being creating a mindful world. So observe your thoughts, intentions, and emotions. That's what I can say out of this. And then when I correlate the concept what James Allen speaks, you are nothing but what you are today is nothing but the sum total of all the thoughts. And this experiment actually validates that point that yes, it depends on the thought, it depends on the emotions we carry, and whatnot. It gives everything what we want, right? So, any questions so far? Anything you want to clarify? Anything that you want to speak? You can raise your hand or type on chat box. I'll pick up and or I'll embed those discussions as I continue the session. Right? Anything so far? Okay. So let's continue further now on this. Right. So yeah, you have something on chat. Okay. Thanks. So this is the impact of our thoughts and emotions, and then when I look at it here, right? So further on this, right? So we'll try to understand more. So James speaks about lot many things about the thoughts and the type of thoughts, the different clarity of thoughts, and then conscious creation and things like that. So usually we are all burdened like this. Like in the previous slide, we saw a normal human being generates about 50 to 70,000 thoughts or in excess, unless he's spiritually inclined or he's practicing mindfulness or he's in meditation. Otherwise, it is creating like a reckless creations or reckless thoughts that is generated in the mind, and that has been sown unknowingly, knowingly, and we'll start getting the results, right? So this is the way a human being feels, that he's burdened, right? When he has a lot of thoughts in his mind, and then it's like carrying a baggage where you don't know you where is it. It's like a virtual bag which is very heavy, and you don't know where the bag is. You're seeing the bag, nothing is there. So but you're carrying a weight. You're feeling that I'm feeling very heavy, I'm feeling very burdened, I'm feeling very stressed or depressed or whatever it is, because we have been creating all these negative emotions, and we usually carry these thoughts, and the society now is built up in such a way, or we are creating the society in such a way that we are talking about anxiety about the future and regrets about the past, and then thinking about bad about others. It's hatred, it's jealousy, it's violence, it's about killing, or it is about talking wrong things about others, right? So all these are actually creating the world we have today, and then we are carrying those burdens and baggage. It's creating a stressful body and mind, right? So this is how it is. And then what it happens is, it actually creates whatever we want, we call it as health. Like say, if it is also been scientifically studied, also like we saw in the previous slide, like say it is impacting the mental and physical health, right? So mental health is created, the physical health is, the mental health gets spoiled because of thoughts, and the physical health is created because of the mind. Because if suppose I want to raise my hand, first my mind, I decide that yes, I want to raise my hand, and then I my hand raises, because the body is nothing but a slave of the mind. And when I lift my hand, it first creates an impulse in the brain, and then it sends the instructions to the motor nerves and the muscles, and the whole thing works, and then it sends an electrical impulse. Then my mind says, okay, lift the hand, then it goes up, right? So the brain also is controlled by the mind, and the mind is seated with the program of the thought. right? So if the mind decides, I'll not lift the hand, then just leaves it there. So that means every single action or reaction or instruction that the mind gives to the body, it hears and it adheres to it. So if the mind says you run, there is some danger, so you start running very fast, right? So when you say stop, it will stop. So similarly, when we look at the modern day science, it says 99% of the disease is psychosomatic. That means whatever comes in the psycho, that is in the mind, it is affecting the soma, that is the body, right? So whatever we pursue or think that, yes, I'm going to get infected, or I'm really getting very feeling unhealthy, or if I eat this, this is going to happen like this. So whatever we create, and it is impacting directly on the physical layer also, and it creates even the blockages in the body, the nervous problems, or whatever we have issues, whether be it cancer or be it any other complicated disease, everything is driven by the mind and the thoughts that we create, right? So he says physical health and the mental health is very, very vital part of human being, and that gets affected mainly because of our mind and thoughts. And definitely, if we want to live a healthy and a happy life and a physically enjoyable life, then it's better we observe and keep our thoughts clear, and then don't think about wrong needs, or respect your body and feel the energy, and then always create a thought which gives more happiness and more energy to the body, reassurance, and say, the body has a great potential and very healthy, I'm feeling good. And thank and respect the body, and appreciate every cell of your body, and says thank you very much for digesting my food. Thank you very much for making me get all the experiences that I'm getting in this physical body and physical layer, right? So if you have a sense of gratitude, you thank and you appreciate the functions and features of the body, and use it in a justful and rightful way, then the body becomes so healthy and vibrant and energetic, right? So the physical health actually is created by exactly the creating a healthy thoughts also, right? So the body is a slave of my mind, just like I said, lift your hand, it lifts. That's how it is going to be, right? So the second thing is whatever we want to achieve, like be it education also, right? Say, if I give you a very small example, right? So if I want to see all the people who are studying, or all the people who are studying science, they will be found in science colleges. And all the people who are studying law, you can find them only in the law colleges, right? So all the people who have thought to study law will end up in a law college, right? All the people who want to do a scientific research, they will end up in research institutions. So anyone, you will not find any person who is not, come there to study science, because everyone would have thought that yes, I'm going to study science and I'm going to research on some subject. So everyone joins there. So if you go and find, introduce each other and find out, then everyone wants to study science there, right? It cannot be something else, because everyone has thought in a particular pattern and a direction, and everyone has got a certain thought process. So everyone goes and meets in the same location, and that's why even the education that we get, we demand and we create what we want, but the external teachers and the education comes to you externally once we want something, right? So that's how it how happens there. So and even the life partner we choose, so we create vibrations, we set the expectations to the external world, then it's it actually resonates, and we create a set of expectations that this is the type of partner I'm looking for, this is the type of partner I don't want. So rather than creating what you want, if you say I don't want this, I don't want this, it's actually going to attract more of that, because you're creating more of I don't want what you don't want. So if you sow more of what you don't want, you're only getting going to get what you don't want, because whatever it speaks, the nature, the universe responds to the same feeling. Like say, if you decided that I want to go and study science, then you are end up going to end up with a science institution. So if you say I don't want to study, I don't want to study, so you naturally not will not end up with an educational institution at all. Similarly, like even if you choose the life partner, so you have to create that in the mind as to what is the type of partner, an ideal picture. It's like it's called as a dreaming, it's called visualizing, it's called creating in the mind, in envisioning it. So everything is envisioned. So there's a lot of stress given on how we are going to envision, how we are going to, like, the dreamers are the best creators of the world, right? Because in the dream, uh, like our great Abdul Kalam, our the late president of India, that Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, right? He said that we dream and you create. You dare to dream and then you create in reality. So similarly, whether we are talking about education or love or even fortune, everything is first created in the mind. So we imagine, we visualize, and the if I want to have fortune, then you have to create a scenario or a picture of yourself enjoying and being in that fortune, and not that you are still living in a very poor condition. It doesn't matter in what condition we are currently in. It only matters what you are going to dream, and the dream is eventually going to be answered by the universe, because the universe does not judge you. Universe does not tell you, you are only a beggar today, how can you be a millionaire? It doesn't judge you. It only knows what you want, and it will give you the way and the path and opportunities and create the whole ambience and environment, and the whole earth planet prepares to give what you want, right? So if you are a poor person and you always curse about the poor condition that you have, you curse the people what you have, you curse the people who have given birth to you, if you curse the environment around you, so you're only going to create the environment more and more, because every visualizing, every thought that we are creating, like cursing the person, is like you are sowing a curse into the soil. So you are, like, you don't want that, but you are still creating more and more an abundance of that curse, or blaming the people, right? So you are going to get people only who are going to be blaming you and you blaming them. That's how we are going to create. But if you want to come out of this trap, he says conscious creation and conscious awareness is the only way, which we can look at it, and then that's how we can talk about it, right? So, and we usually fall into that same trap of creating only those things which we don't want to create, because we are so scared, or we are so depressed, or we are so suppressed by these physical conditions or emotional conditions in our family, in our office or environment, the worldly conditions, that we don't dare to dream what we want, right? So let us all dare to dream what we want, right? So if we don't dare to dream what we want, then we cannot create what we want. And that's exactly what it talks about, right? So we all, like, it's like a simple example, right? There is one rich person, right? Where there's a rich man. Every night he is afraid that he has so much of cash and gold and lot of property. What if there is some person, a burglar, a thief comes and robs him? Every night when he sleeps, he just gets a spike of fear. I have so much of cash. I have to be careful. To be alert. Right? He creates only that, and then every day is watering. He has sown a seed of fear and then insecurity about the fortune that he has. Every day he waters it by recalling the thought again and again. And there is a one great robber, right? He thinks always, I want to get a big jackpot. I always want to get a big hand, and I want to have a big bounty. So every day he dreams about the big bounty and creates a thought, and then both the thoughts mature. The rich man gets what he wants, so he gets released from his fortune or wealth, and the robber gets what he wants. Whatever he has created, the rich things that he has created, that he wanted a bounty. So when both matures, like when it starts giving the fruits, it gives you the fruits, and then both of them get what they have created for, right? So that's exactly how it is. Every single thought is correlated, and it has a meaning for it. It has a perfect results for every single thought that we create, every single emotions that we generate in our heart and mind, right? So that's very important. It's like a continuously moving weaving machine. So the weaving machine is like a mind, and the design that we feed in the weaving machine, it's like a loom where we want to create design on a sari or a shirt or a printed material or a sweater. So it's like you have a loom, it's playing up, and then you are continuously feeding a design. So it is a non-stop activity, right? So the mind is like a loom, it's a weaving machine, and then the thoughts are the design that we are feeding out of our thoughts. And based on the design, the output actually changes dynamically. It can give you a flower, it can give a picture of a dragon, or it can change the colors of the threads, or it can change the size of the design, smaller, bigger, more dense, or more scabs, and the type of thread that it takes and selects. The loom can do all the changes, right? It's like the mind can do whatever it changes to the thought tells it. And based on what the mind and the thought creates, the body and the environment around us acts according to the design that we have created, right? It's a perfect, we are creating the design every minute, every thought. Like even if you are, like, say someone comes and cuts your hand, or you meet with an accident, so it's not a coincidence, it's a perfectly planned, it's a perfectly designed creation that we have created. Even if someone steals you, you get cancer, you get fortune, you get a lottery, you get a big jackpot, or you get a hit with a great job, a great friend who can help you in a big way. Everything is not a coincidence. It's a perfectly created intersection of thoughts, at a perfectly intersection, or a demand and the supply, right? It's like you are going to a restaurant and ordering for food, so the supplier or the waiter will only give what you have ordered. They will never serve you what you have not ordered. But what you have forgotten what you have ordered, right? So you start quarreling with them, right? I did not order this. Why did you bring it? Because you have a memory loss issue, right? You order it within 5 minutes, you lose your memory. So the person who serves you brings whatever you have ordered. But what happens is then you will not accept it. You don't have a sense of acceptance, and you don't realize that you are the one who ordered these things. And then you start fighting with the person who has given you the food and said, I didn't order the pizzas, I had ordered you the rice, right? So then he says, okay sir, you see, this is the order I have written down, and you can ask your friends, and I can see it is punched in my system, right? Same thing, it's similar, right? From one instant to another, right? We keep creating non-stop. But when it comes to ripening of the the germination, and when it gives fruits, then we start fighting and getting agitated. Why did it come to me? Why is it happening to me? Why everyone is cursing me? Why is it everyone blaming me, or why everyone is appreciating me, right? Everything and anything that comes to us, it's not a coincidence. It's a perfect creation. It's a perfectly balanced world, right? Every thought has an accountability. Just like I told, 1 rupee or $1 deposited in a bank has all the accountability. The bank doesn't say it's just $1, so just forget it. It doesn't say like that. They say $1 is a $1. It is added to your account. There's a calculation to it. Every single thing is accounted. So similarly, every thought that we generate, every thought that we create has an accountability, has a result oriented to this, right? So it's such a wonderful world, right? So it's a, and when we if I extend this a bit more, right? When I talk about in a spiritual context, we are not just come here only in this lifetime alone, right? So if I want to extend from what James has said and add some more flavor from my end, right? So we are not come here just appeared out of nowhere in this lifetime. My I as a spirit, or I as a soul, is a continuous thing. There's no discontinuity. It's a continuous thing. It's everywhere. It's an omnipresent energy. It's a spirit. It's a soul, right? So whatever we are today is because of the last life that we left, and the intention we got to create, or the experience that we got for this lifetime, and what is the experience we want to get in this lifetime. So it doesn't so happen that whatever I have created in the past life, it just disappears after the past life. It also carries forwards the future, I mean the next life and next generation, or many lifetimes also. It's like in a simple way, if I want to tell you, right? It's like one financial year to another financial year, we always have a closing account of a P&L. There is a profit and loss account, and there is a balance sheet, right? So the profit and loss account says whether you have lost the money or gained the money. You have made profits, then it adds to the balance sheet into your profits. Your assets will go up. Or if it says you have lost the money, then your assets will go down or your cash flow goes down. It hits the balance sheet, right? So if there is a liability to be paid, so from one financial year to another financial year, it doesn't get nullified. It doesn't get excused. The bank, if they get the money from you, they will come behind you to take the money, even from one financial year to another financial year. So similarly, we change our bodies, we change our lifetimes, we change our dimensions of the planes or planets that we are in. But it doesn't excuse you from whatever we have created, whatever assets we have created. Like if I have hurt someone, that comes back to you. If I have given good things from someone, it comes back to you. So we have to give and take in exchange of things, right? That's part of a karmic siddhanta. It's called, like, the past is called all the sum of all the past life is still there. Like I said, the bank account has the sum of all the transactions. So similarly, all the past life transactions or creations or karmic accounts is still there. That is called the sanchita karma. Okay, it's called the sanchita. And then the current life, it's like a current account. You have created a company, you've taken some money from the sanchita, brought it to a current account, you have invested in the business, and then you will gain or lose, and then you will carry forward to the next life. That is next financial year, right? So that is called agami. Sanjita, the current life is called prarabdha. You bring certain karmic, balances. You say, I will only consume this much of prarabdha, sanchita, and bring it into this current stage. This is the drama I am going to create. These are the players. These are the actors. So we create all these things and come here to experience certain things. And then when we complete this lifetime, we carry forward. So the previous sanchita plus the result of the prarabdha gets added up, plus or minus whatever it needs to be. Then it goes to the agami. That means the future. So there is always a free will in this lifetime. So irrespective of what we have created in the past, right? We have a consciousness. It's called the free will world. We can decide, even if I'm suffering on a deathbed, I can decide. I can read a book, I can listen to music, I can enjoy and start smiling. I can crib and cry, and I can curse people for whatever you are, right? So the choice is a free will, right? So whatever the choice is, if I'm not aware of this particular moment of creating a choiceful life, then it is always going to be a vicious trap of creating all misfortunes, ill health, depression, relationship problems, whatever the world is seeing today, right? All the anxieties, the hospitals going up, ill health, the insurance companies are going up, there's more terrorism. So all this is created because we are all thinking about it. So we all have a choice, like we all meditators have a choice. We have made a choice that we are going to meditate. We are going to reduce the density of our thought, and we are going to be conscious about what we are creating. So it is a choice, right? And I'm what come what may, I'm going to be happy. I'm wear a smile on my face, right? So I'll wear a smile on my face. I'm going to thank for every single thing that's happening in my life, whether it's good, bad, ugly. I'm going to take it equal. So I'm going to thank the whole universe for giving me this platform to play my role, right? So the choice is mine, right? So that's how the life is, and we are the creators. We create our own realities. That's what our great Patri sir says, right? So we create our own realities and we create our own, life, right? So we are the masters. That's how it is, right? So I hope I'm more uh, in a flow, and then hope it's making sense to you all. And if you have any questions, you can stop me, or otherwise we can continue. I'll just hold on for a few seconds. If you have any questions, you have any queries. Yeah. Okay. So let's carry on, friends and masters. So this session is pretty interesting because it's all about thoughts, And I told you, it's like you know James also talks about sow and reap, right? So if I look at this tree, right, if I look at this tree here, it is talking about you can, what you can see here is a mango tree, right? It's a tree with full of mangoes, right? How many seeds do you think we need to get this big tree and with so many fruits? How many seeds do we need to sow to get this big tree, right? I hope definitely everyone, unless you are not gone crazy. So everyone would say, I just need to sow one seed to get one tree, right? Unless the seed fails, then you may have to sow another seed because the seed would have failed or it wouldn't have germinated. So for all the seed that is actually that is possible to germinate, we just need to have one seed to get one tree like this, and that one tree can give you hundreds and thousands of fruits, and it can keep giving, right? So this is called the cause and effect theory, right? And what James also says, and we also know in our own philosophical terms, that if you give one, you get 10, right? If you give one, then you get hundreds of it, right? If you do good, then you get hundreds of good things in your life. If you do bad, then you will get hundreds of bad things or tens of bad things in your life. Like if you sow one seed of mango, then you are seeing it here that you're getting thousands and hundreds of mango fruit in the tree. So isn't it so wonderful, right? Even in the thought also, it also impacts in the same way, right? I usually take some examples to it. How can one thought that I create can give so many results? Can it give so many fruits to me? One thought I would have thought something that I may get cancer, or I may get diabetes, or I can get a jackpot. I'll win a great job with the bonuses, and I'll get a great car. So whatever it is, right? And one thought will give rise to thousand after effects and thousands are after effects of the thought that we create, right? Say it's like a person thinks, like say there are two brothers, right? Who has a mother of about 35-year-old brother, and an elder brother of 45, and the mother is about 65, assume like that, right? So they all go to have their mother checked with a doctor, but she has three good friends. One is diabetes, one is blood, the BP, and something like arthritis. She has three great friends, and they all go to the doctor, and then the doctor says, look, guys, your mother has three great friends, right? And your father had four friends, right? So you rather be careful. Your father also had a heart problem, so your mother has three problems, your father had four. So it looks like you may also get it, because sometimes it may also get to be genetic or hereditary, or you may also be careful that, because it can also affect you, or you may also get into one of these catching with one of these friends. Then one brother, like a 35-year-old brother, he says, come what may, I will not get into this. I will never get these friends with myself. And then the brother of 45 thinks that, yes, I may get something like that. Let me be very careful. So what happens is, every single thought that a person generates, if you look at it here, right? If you look at the image here, the brain here, the brain generates something like an electrical impulse, right? It generates an electrical impulse, and then the electrical impulse will have two effects to this. Okay, every single thought will have two effects. Okay, one is called, in technological terms, one is called as a wired effect, the other one is called as a wireless effect, right? So the wired effect is the one which is the electrical signal that flows through your body. So you have nerves in your body, right? You can see this, the wires that goes and controls literally every single organ, every single body part is controlled by the nadis, the electrical impulse that flows in the nadis, that actually makes you to operate your hand, listen, walk, talk, chew, see. speak and sing, dance, jump, everything. So everything that needs a connectivity through the nadis. That is called the etheric body of the connecting nodules, the neurons, right? So every nerves are again drilled down into neurons. So there are a lot of signal carrying, impulse carrying, instruction carrying mechanism of the body, right? That is all called as a wire. You all must be knowing, right? Your tube lights, your fans, they are all connected through wires. Once you switch on, then the fan will turn on, then the tube lights may turn on, or the geyser may turn on, right? So that's called wire effect. And you all know you have a mobile phone, so we all use this. It's called wireless, isn't it? So we don't have to teach everyone what is wired and wireless, right? So we know, right? So when we generate a thought, like I was telling you about we generating 60,000, 50,000, 70,000 thoughts. So every thought will give two results. One is called wired result that will impact your body, and the other one is called a wireless effect. So if the brother has thought, like, a 45-year person, he thinks that, yes, I may be diabetic someday, right? Then that body, as I told you, the body is a slave of your mind. Then it says, okay, Baba, I listen to you, master. I will be a diabetic. It's like sowing a coconut, sapling. You will put a coconut sapling, so it will give you results in 5 years. It will give you so many coconuts. So something like diabetes also is like a coconut tree. After 5 to 6 years, the body will become diabetic, right? And what happens, the whole body, every cell is programmed, become diabetic, become diabetic, become diabetic, become diabetic. Like you see, you keep one heap of a small heap of sugar, and then there are some ants. Then the moment it sees the ants, you will see every ant will carry one granule of sugar, and then they keep carrying to their more, right? So similarly, if you see, after some time, you will see a big line of ants carrying, a white crystal of sugar, and then you can see it's such a beautiful pattern. Similarly, our cells and the neurons in the body is no different than an ant group. Every cell is like a soldier. It just listens what's the mind commands, and it says, okay, Baba, I'll do it. Okay, sir, I will do it. Okay, boss, I will do it. It's like a genie just listens to the master, right? So the whole body cell starts vibrating, getting programmed to become a diabetic, right? So, and just imagine, the universe is so beautiful, right? It just listens, it doesn't judge you. Like, if you talk about a fire, fire doesn't have its own polarity or negative or positive. If you use it for cooking, it is good. If you use it for burning someone, it is bad. It itself is not negative or positive. So the universe also doesn't judge you. It only knows, okay, tatastu. It gives only blesses whatever you wish, it will give you. So the person who is like 45-year-old, he has, wished that he will become a diabetic, right? So it gives unconditionally, it gives unconditional love. It just says, whatever you want, take it. It's there. So what happens is, it sends a signal to if you look at a hospital, a person who is building a hospital, you ask him why you are building a hospital. He says some diseased person will come. So if you ask a factory who is manufacturing syringe injection, so they'll say someone needs it. I'm manufacturing syringe. And if I ask someone who wants manufacturing bed or bricks and stone walls and windows, and then all the thousands of people who want to build the building, they just don't know. They say, I'm building a hospital. We don't know. There's someone who is going to come here. So when the person's demand gets matured, then the hospitals are created, then there's a medicine created, there's insulin created, and there's job for so many people, right? So just one single thought, you can imagine how many results it's giving, how many fruits it's generating, right? So it's such a wonderful world, right? So every single thought has accountability. Every single thought gives you results. But some thought may be slow in manifesting. Some thoughts may be fast in manifesting. Like you grow coriander, it just comes within a month, right? If you take some wheat granules and then grains and then sow it, it gives, it germinates within few days. It gives you green grass, right? Or if you sow a mango tree, it takes many years. So it depends on the intensity of our thought and emotion that decides the time difference between our creation to manifestation, right? So it all depends on the intensity of the brain wave, the intensity of the emotion. Like say, If you're so angry about a person, you just want to go and kill that person, or if you're so crazy about a person, you just want to go and hug that person, right? If you're so intense about the thought, if you're so crazy and mad about the creation, the creation happens very fast. And if you are so afraid of certain things, and literally you may fall dead right on the spot, because your heart can stop pumping blood, because you are so shocked and you are so intensely impacted by the thought of a snake coming and biting you. Just because of the fear, you may collapse on the floor and you may die of a heart arrest, right? So that's how impactful the manifestation can be, right? If you are so choked, right, and so affected because of fear, you may die instantly. So the manifestation has happened instantly, right? So if you have a slow poison, right, a slow death, a strong poison is strong death, immediate death. Similarly, a nectar or a poison, right? It doesn't matter, right? It just creates. It doesn't judge, whether it's male or female, positive, negative, black and white, sun and moon, gold and silver. It doesn't matter, right? It is all created. Whatever we want, it doesn't look at the polarity of good, bad, negative, positive. It doesn't really matter here. So it all depends on what we sow, like whether you sow a bitter gourd or sweet watermelon. It just grows. That the soil the soil or the mind itself doesn't judge what is actually you're sowing. It doesn't say, "Arey, it's bitter, baba, don't sow it." It doesn't tell you, right? The nature and the universe doesn't really stop you from creating whatever you want to create. Arey, baba, it's so sweet, don't eat it, or don't sow it, you will become diabetic. It doesn't tell you, right? It just gives you whatever you want, right? It's abundance, it's unlimited, it's non-judgmental, it's universal, it's infinite. We can create infinite things in our life, right? So the problem is, the only thing is, we as a human, right, we don't know what we are creating, right? If you see this tree, master, so what is the name of this tree? Can anyone say what is the name of this tree? Can anyone say what is the name of this tree? It has so many different things. So this is how usually our life is, right? That's what even James says. Even I have experienced it myself. So we don't know what we are sowing every minute, every moment. We don't know what we are thinking. We don't know what we are carrying in our mind. We don't know what emotions we are having, right? So it's really a reckless creation. It's just unconscious creation. We don't know what we are doing it, right? So that's why if you see here, it's like a mixed crop, mixed food. We don't know. We're just like an unconscious farmer. Just he doesn't know what seeds they are. He's just taking one big bag of seeds and then he's just throwing the seeds on the soil. It's like what will you call those farmers? It's a mad person. He doesn't know what he's sowing. Then he's going to also get that result, right? So we also, the humanity has turned out to be like mad farmers. They are sowing the thoughts recklessly, unconsciously, and that's why we are creating the world the way it is today. It's a way of unhealthy things, a way of all the unrest, a way of all the terrorism, the way of all this mafias, whatever our political system. We are responsible for it. We people, we our thoughts, our collective thoughts. And just like I want to sum it up here, that just like James says, a man is literally the sum total of all the thoughts. At the same time, the world, the human kingdom today on the earth plane is nothing but a sum total of all the human thoughts that we have created in the earth plane as on today, right? That's the reason the world is like this. No one has to be blamed. We are all equally responsible to be in this plane, in this vibration, in this experience, in this situation of the world. We are all equally responsible for it, right? Don't you think we are all responsible for the world we are living in? Don't you think we have created it? Because every moment, every situation, as we saw in the experiment of Masaru Emoto, a bottle, just one thought of or one emotion, it gave rise to reorganizing the crystals or patterns of the molecules of the water. Similarly, the external world also gets these wireless signals, and that's how it is all getting created, right? If we all think about ill health, then we create more hospitals. If we all think about being healthy, no medicines, no doctors, No insurance companies are required. If I don't have accidents, if I don't create an accident in my mind, a fear of accident in my mind, if I don't create a fear of unhealthiness in our mind, no doctors, no medical. Like if I'm buying bananas every day and 100 people are buying bananas every day and they all stop eating bananas, then there's no demand, there's no supply, right? And something else will be on demand and that will start growing more, right? So it's purely a supply and demand, it's cause and effect theory, right? So the world today is a perfect paradise or hell or a heaven, depending on what we as a humanity are creating. So that's why we as a human, right? I would call that as a thought pollution that we are creating, right? So the mother of all the pollutions that we have is a thought pollution. Mother is what gives the birth to a child, isn't it? Mother is a creator. Mother is giving the home, a place as a called as a womb for the child to grow up and for a baby to come up, and then she's giving birth to a child. So similarly, we as a creator of thoughts, we are the thoughts are the mother of all all the pollutions that we are creating: noise pollution, air pollution, water pollution, or whatever problems that we are creating. The mother of all good and bad are nothing but the thoughts. So meditation actually is one way, right? To create a serenity and a calm mind. Meditation is one way, right? Like when we did meditation, we observed our breath and we realized that we are getting a lot of thoughts, and we reduce the thoughts by observing the breath again. So we become conscious of the mind, we become conscious of the thoughts that we create, and ultimately we get a calm mind because there's no many thoughts, and like it's like a plain land, and you know what you are sowing. Then you don't create more weeds. And suppose you sow mango, then you get a great mango tree. So whatever manure and water you are giving it to the tree gets 100% nutrition of that, 100% care of that. But if you create too many unwanted weeds, then you will have to go literally and search, where is my mango tree? The weeds have grown so big. So the purpose of whatever you are struggling for, the purpose what you want to achieve is lost, because you have created too many weeds that are not supporting the main seed that you have sown, right? So that becomes a agitated mind and a very disturbed mind and a distressed mind and a depressed mind and a stressful mind, right? So and becoming conscious of our mind, and meditation is one way where we can observe and reduce the density of thoughts, and that will create something called as a calm mind, and it creates a serenity within us. We become more serene and become more calm and peaceful and pleasant, right? So ultimately, the solution to the world today is a calm mind is required, and to achieve the serenity, right? So let's all target and progress towards achieving a calm and a present mind, masters. And then and if you actually when we achieve awareness of thoughts, and when we achieve a calm mind and become more conscious, more mindful about every single thought that we create, like we call it as enlightenment or awareness, like of a mind, which is like a home. Like, come back to your mind, come back to your home, right? That means we all say, right, come back to yourself, come back to your mind, come back to your home. That means if anyone wants to come to your home, enter your home, then they literally knock your door and ring a bell, isn't it? So you open the door and see whether he is a person whom you want him to come, or whom you want to meet. Then you say, welcome Baba, so thank you for coming, and you give them coffee, tea, or snacks, or lunch, or dinner. And if you want get to know that this person is not the person you are expecting, then you say, no Baba, you please carry on, I don't need you. And then you close the door. So that's how our mind should be, where a thought knocks on your mind and says, can I come, right? So that's called enlightenment. That's an enlightened society, right? It's like I would say it's like a Six Sigma of thoughts. Like Six Sigma is like you create one in a million, right? If you produce million thoughts, one thought you should not be aware, then you call Six Sigma. You achieve Six Sigma black belt on your mind status. Then you become Buddha, you become enlightened, because every thought you are aware, every action, every emotion you are aware of, right? So That's called enlightenment, awareness, or mindfulness, right? So, and when we become more aware, more and more getting aware of it, more and more, you know, observing our breath more and more, then we can achieve. One is a pure and calm mind. You know, first thing first, we'll achieve a pure and calm mind, and then as we progress, we'll get to know the right speech, so we can know what we are speaking, what to speak, when to speak, how to speak, whom to speak, how much to speak. You know, the right speech, right? You know, the right speech, knowledge, the wisdom of right speech, right? And then when we speak, you know, whatever your actions and deeds are is based purely on your mind, and then the speech and action is based on whatever you think, right? So that is called trikarna shuddhi. Is it called the manasa vacha karmana, right? So we call it a we have achieve a three-layer shuddhata or purity. Purity of mind leads to purity of speech, and purity of speech and leads to purity of action and deeds. You know, so that is called karma kshetra, right, master? So it's such a great thing. So I could just try to join the dots, like he has given a great book called As a Man Thinketh, and I could just want to connect the dots and then give you my context, my experience living with this book. You know, so I literally can see the effect of living practically on this philosophy, and how we can lead to a serene life. You know, how we can actually understand our thought like a seed, and we can generate more and more the results that we want, right? So, and finally, meditation is the way to awareness of thoughts and conscious creations of the world, right? So I wish every one of us, each one of the masters here, meditate and then teach meditation and spread meditation and awareness to the whole world, right? That's my wish, and that's exactly what we all want to achieve in our real life situation, right? So that brings to the final slide or the topic of the day, right, Master? So I'm up for question and answers if you have anything for me. I hope you all enjoyed and you can you could get some good context of what we were speaking for the day.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a great wisdom session. As a Man Thinketh, described the power of thoughts by James Allen. I would just like to summarize some points that I got connected to. So it was, I mean, you had really shared some real time examples of how we think and how it affects our mental and physical health. And you've stressed that point, always dare to dream. I'm sure it must have gone into everybody's mind. And you've really wonderfully explained how to consciously create, how we are accountable for our thoughts. And completely agree. The world we are in here is all because of our thoughts.
Yeah.
So let's all meditate and achieve a better world and be aware of our thoughts and actions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So anything, anything on the chat box, or any questions by participants
Um, hmm,
or any confidence, or
I don't.
we can end the session after the Q&A with meditation,
Okay.
right? That's what we'll do. So we'll have some a few minutes for our Q&As, and then we'll end the session with meditation again. Yeah.
I don't see any questions here from the panelists. Do we have any questions? Thank you. Nope, I think we can go ahead with meditation.
Okay.
Suresh?
Anyone? Okay. So anyone wants to speak and unmute, or you allow them to unmute?
Yes. So
So we
one,
should
yeah.
slide after water. So you want to see the slide after water molecules. Okay. So okay, this is the one. This is the one. You want to see this slide, or you want to see the slide of water molecules? or after water molecules. This is the one. Yeah, this is a wave of, we call it as a cloud of thoughts. The cloud of thoughts leads to the results what we get. Like the rain doesn't come just can rain somewhere. It has a purpose for raining also in a particular place. The clouds comes from somewhere and then it rains on a specific area, right? So it's like a moving cloud. It rains perfectly at a perfect spot. So wherever we are, whatever we are qualified for, it rains. The rain of education, health, love, fortune, everything rains for a purpose. Yeah. I hope it's not a very complicated topic for masters, confusing anyone there. so, so this is one of my favorite subjects and topics, right? So I've just picked up some of the slides from my workshops called Body, Mind, Soul, and so where we talk about emphasizing why meditation is so important. So all this, like the concepts of PSSM, it's perfectly blends with this, right? And it's a perfect book for Swadhyaya within the PSSM book, or the meditators or the spiritual seekers. That as a man thinker, it is a great book for new age. Though it's a 100-year-old book, right? It was printed somewhere in 1913. uh, it's more than 110 years old, but just imagine the relevance of this book even today.
Well,
So you were
hello.
speaking, yeah,
Yeah,
Suresh.
yeah. Of course, today you have explained in a very, very simple manner. It's very understandable, giving live examples of bank account. It's very, it touched my heart. It's some balance of the period from opening of the account to the day of requisition. It is some balance. You'll get that. Like that, your karmic efforts also some balance of your date of birth and to the present day of your recognition. Very, very simply explained, and as you sow, so you reap. There is one more thing you explained. One small seed is enough to get thousands of fruits. Like similarly, if you sow a positive thought, you'll get positive results. Sow a negative thought, you get negative results. This karmic effect, everything you explain in a very crystal and transparent way. Nowadays it's very much uh, useful because everybody is getting fear of this COVID-19. So whatever you think, if you are fearless, the COVID-19 will not touch you. If you are thinking again and again every moment, definitely you'll get there. That's what you said. It's a wonderful way of expression, very clear and touching everybody, very understandable. Thanks a lot, Suresh. It's very good
Thank you, sir.
session.
Thank you, sir. I really enjoyed, and thanks for your feedback
Thank you.
also.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sir, session, can I speak, sir?
Yeah, please, ma'am.
Session was excellent, sir. Sir, uh, I want to know how you came into PSSM, sir, in which year, and life transformation about yourself means, before meditation and after meditation, sir.
Yeah.
Please tell me in detail, sir.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So
In
I
which
was not
in
very.
which year you came meditation,
Yeah,
by whom, and what are the transformation before meditation and after meditation?
sure, ma'am. So definitely, it's I went into a spiritual journey, right? Seeking spiritual answers, or the maybe some of the questions that I had, I started seeking on it through books somewhere in 1996. So as I mentioned, I ventured into Siddha Samadhi Yoga, and then started experimenting on many things like Reiki, and then I picked up some of the Western courses like Silva Mind Control, and then you know uh, there's again author or a trainer called Bert Goldman. He talks something about quantum jumping and quantum healing, right? So I picked up, and something like Ed Dames, who talks about remote viewing, right? We talk about third eye experience and things. So it teaches something called remote viewing. It trains, the U.S. CIAs and the military personals to get themselves psychically enabled, right? So he teaches remote viewing. Like we talk about third eye, remote going to other dimension planes. So I've gone spend a lot of time and money on these sort of things, experimenting on myself, both on spiritual context, physical and mind layer. So I did Silva mind control, the basic and ultra mind ESP sessions. Then I did hypnosis, remote viewing, quantum healing, jumping, and all these concepts. And then I'm a Reiki second degree master. So I started experimenting all of these things. Then, and I was an extensive reader of books, and I love books. Whenever I travel, I love traveling as well. I travel all over the world, right? Different countries and different parts of India, right? So I carry a book, and I finish books like what Patricia recommends, right? So and I love books, right? So especially on the spiritual scientific context, right? That's how I picked them. And when I started doing all of these things, then I sensed there's something beyond it. Then that very seeking itself, I think I got to meet Patriji in 2009-10, and then the first experience was totally different. He was like a sculpture hitting the stone and knowing where he is hitting, right? So that's the experience I got, that he hit me hard on wherever I need to shape myself, right? I realized it. So he was telling, you should be like a Gandhi or a Buddha, and that's how I realized, I have to be in reality and truth and serve the humanity. And that's where I intensified teaching meditation. I came into meditation in 2010 in Anapanasati. And then he said, you have to be a Buddha, meditate more, and be in non-violence. So, and, that's when I started teaching. So when I came into PSM, all the myths got cleared up, because earlier to that, I was practicing Vipassana mode of meditation, where it's not freely taught, or it has a particular ambience or people who are trainers and they are qualified to teach. But when we came into PSM, anyone can teach, anywhere you can meditate, anytime you can meditate. So that's a anywhere, anyone, anytime meditation. That's what I realized, and then gave me like a license to kill. So I can kill anyone with meditation. So I mean, kill their thoughts, kill their mind, and make them no mind. That's how the license to kill is given by PSSM, right? That's all I can say. And and that came into my mind that we need to create more meditation centers. So we need to create more meditators. It's like we need to have more fuel pumps as we have more vehicles. So we need to have more meditation centers to refill the my energies to humanity. So that's how that's my mission, and that's how I've been doing it. And before meditation, like it's like everyone is responsible for my life. It's not me. Whatever is not happening, it's because of someone else. So that turned upside down when we get into self introspection, and then self knowledge awareness comes in, right? Then we say, I'm responsible for everything what I'm creating. I am the creator of my own life. So that's turns completely upside down. You flip the coin and it turns head, right? So I am the head. So that's how it all turned. And then uh, as and when I progressed, I used to do quite a lot of intense meditation. I was in Singapore for a year, and I used to experiment even foodless living. Right, I even I used to like I met Jasmohin in Bangalore, and there was Global Congress of Spiritual Scientists. I met her many times in Bangalore, and I was wondering how can I sustain without food. Then I also took up some courses, or I saw some programs about a couple called Akahi and Camila. They are from the US. So they teach something called breatharian living. They teach people how to move from eating to non-eating. So I experimented. I was a very hefty and fat guy right before, and then struggling to lose weight. Then I realized that even there is something called the foodless living also. And whatever we eat gives energy, and energy can also come alternate energies, like solar can come without burning the fuel. Right, energy is energy. Right, ultimately what we get out of food is energy. So I started experimenting on food. I started eating once in a week, sort of a thing. I lived like that for a year in Singapore. I was there all alone, and then my family was here, so I could experiment more and meditate a whole night. Like 1 year, I meditated for almost like from evening 10 p.m. to morning 5:30. So that gave me For me, 2010 was my spiritual rebirth, a year of awakening for me. And that's all I can say. And then on, as I mentioned, like it's like you are facing a sea of water and you get drowned with the waves, right? Before that, and now I am sitting on a boat of spirituality. However big the wave is, I'm going to sail on it. I'm just going to enjoy the big and small waves. So it's like thrilling life, and it says, effortless living. Whatever the samsara sails you up and down, but you're still enjoying. So that it's like detachment is attachment. That's the concept I can say. So I can sense that and I can feel it, the effortless prosperity, health, and happiness, and both, a personal life, the social life, and spiritual life. So the worldly life as well. Yeah, that's the a brief, or I would say a long story about my journey on spiritual science and its effects.
Rishi, definitely you're a killer. Not unlike killing of Caesar by Brutus. You are killing the evil thoughts of all humanity and making this earth a paradise. So definitely your workshops, your teaching, it will lead to a divine place. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for giving me this platform. I'm really blessed to be here. Okay, so should we meditate unless we have any questions or any feedbacks? Okay.
Yeah, we'll meditate for a few minutes.
Yeah, we'll just, shall I
Yeah,
play the music or anyone wants to play the music?
same music you can continue.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I'll just continue the same music and then we can meditate for some time. Right. So, masters, close your eyes, observe the breath, the normal, natural breath. Be with your breath. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Just put your hands on your eyes for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Gently open your eyes. Gently open your eyes. Come back. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was a great meditation session.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Digital Swadhyaya team. Really a great, I would say we are so fortunate to have this sessions, just getting knowledge in 2 hours of the entire book. And this was a great wisdom session, sir. So before we end the session, I would like to mention about the Spiritual India magazine, which is a great work by our Spiritual India team. This magazine brings to you the spiritual concepts shared by Patriji and all great masters across the globe. We would like to, we'll be playing a small video, a short video. Let's see that. Thank you. Thank you so much for the team for giving me this opportunity to host. And I think let's meet tomorrow at the same time.
Nikita ma'am, your anchoring was quite good. You are looking beautiful not only externally and internally also. Thanks a lot. And Suresh ji, you made us a good farmer, showing what we thought and yielding positive results is a really wonderful session. Let us not be bad farmers. Let us think in the right way and bring this Mother Earth a heaven. Thanks you once again, Suresh, for bringing such a wonderful session, enlightening all of the film masters and all viewers of this session. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Master. Thank you all for participating and giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Session was excellent. Anuradha, thank you very much.
Thank
Session
you.
was excellent, sir. Okay, we want further more classes in future. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Sai, close the session. Sai.
We will conclude the session, sir, now.